The Cubs hoping to turn things around on this Friday afternoon, but that would not be the case as they now drop 6 straight. They are 2-10 in their last 12 games. That is tied for the worst record in baseball since May 9th. Ian Happ trying to keep the hopes alive, pops this up, and that would be your final 4-2. So the Cubs, they fall behind after the Astros score in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning. A bombski from PCA, a 2-run shot, but it would not be enough. Welcome on in to Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. It's Elise Menaker, Lance Brozdowski, and Lance, this is tough because you're waiting for the Cubs to get going, especially in those situations, runners in scoring position. But you look at that starting pitching, starting the tone, and Jameson Taillon just not really his day-to-day to just, lock things down.
Yeah. I mean, 6 losses in a row is not good. They're not hitting with runners in scoring position. The pitching hasn't been great. I mean, there aren't a lot of bright spots right now. The only bright spot is that we expect some of these things to probably regress back to the average, and this team should be playing better. But we've said that for the last 6 games, and it hasn't happened. So, I mean, tiny positives around. PCA's homer was pretty solid.
Yes.
Dansby's playing great defense. The defense doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's just that is more of a complimentary thing. You need to pitch, you need to be able to hit, and they haven't done that.
Yeah, and so for Jameson Taillon, he's looking to make adjustments. He does give up home runs, so he gave up a 17th so far in the season for him. That's leading baseball. Solo shot, but it's just more so you're trying to keep the team in it at this point to give them a chance. That wasn't the case today. Bright spots for Taillon. I mean, it looks like he's trying to make adjustments in these outings.
He is, yeah. He's a cerebral enough guy. You know this from conversations with him as well. Like, he's thinking about these things. The big thing that jumps out to me is the velocity's down relative to last season. And I was actually talking with former Cub Dan Herron the other day, and I say it all the time, velocity is king, but it was good to hear from someone else who literally told me, yes, velocity is king. The problem here is that's a miss, right? It's supposed to be down away. It ends up in the zone to Christian Vasquez. But his misses seem to turn into barrels more often when the velo is down. That's, I think, what Dan Herron's getting at is when the velo is up, when you have that extra tick, you're able to not run into these situations where that pitch gets barreled. What I liked was early in the game, he was throwing a lot of four-seam fastball. He doubled the usage of this pitch relative to his season average versus right-handed hitters. It was really nice above the zone, especially in deep count situations for him to get swing and miss. As the game went on, though, this seemed to be the trick he had in his bag, where it was like, okay, I have this, I'm going to do this game. But you push into the 4th inning, he continued to throw four-seam. And then that is where I think you run into some issues where it's like, okay, I don't have the trick of the four-seam anymore. They kind of have an idea of what's coming. And now all of a sudden you run into some ball in play, and then, eventually comes off the game with 4 runs allowed. But this is what I was talking about here. You see the left column right there, you threw 39% four-seam fastball to right-handed hitters today. His season average is around 20%. To your point, Elise, he's trying things. It worked for a couple innings. He just wasn't able to tack on everything else that he's done well at other points this season, particularly opening day and a couple starts after that when he was very good. So, again, I like the fact he's trying new things. He's clearly trying to figure it out. That was good game planning to go with the four-seam heavy. He only got through 4 2/3. The ERA's up to 5.2 right now. I mean, he's going to be searching for other things. But to me, you figure out what does he need to do to get better? Like, what is it? The number one thing up there to me is finding 92 to 93 consistently as opposed to sitting in the 91 to 92 area.
Well, and it's sounding a little bit to me like the conversation we had last year about Shota Imanaga, where the velocity isn't everything, but then when it does have a drop, now you're looking at the location and the execution being that much more important, because if you don't have that extra, even if it's just a mile per hour, well, now you've really got to hone in on that strike zone. I just feel like we overstate command in baseball. Like, the average miss is somewhere between 10 and 12 inches. That's a lot. The plate's like 17 inches. So in situations, it's like I'm just missing less if I have good command. I'm still going to miss. And when you have high velocity, you have better than league average velocity, or even relative to your career average, you're able to mitigate the damage that these misses cause. Even that forcing up, like, that's 3-4 inches above the zone. Yeah, that was not a terrible pitch. Yeah.
But again, if that's 93.4, the probability of that going the other way is probably lower than if it is in the 91 to 92 area he's been sitting.
And in that particular bat, I was noting location, like working away, and while that one is up, still maybe not moving that eyesight. It's the long ball, too. He's now given up 6 in his last couple of starts, and he's working with an 11.17 ERA. So, I think that's where you start to see the pitching and the offense work hand in hand, because if you're going to fall behind like they've been doing in these games, if the pitchers are giving up runs, well, now that's putting the offense in a tough spot. They're working from behind, and we're still seeing struggles with this runners in scoring position.
We are, yeah. The RISP stuff, I mean, listen, you turn on any social media or any radio in the city of Chicago.
You pick and you'll find something about it.
You will find conversations on RISP. And, I like what Counsell said pregame. He was talking about Listen, batting average for runners in scoring position is difficult for me to rely on. I'm paraphrasing what Counsell says here. The thing that he said at the end of it that stuck out to me, and I'm going to point out in regards to that hap that he strikes out right there. He said, when you strike out with runners in scoring position, you prevent luck from happening when you put ball in play. That particular one,
that's an example.
Loaded.
Yes, it's an out, but
exactly.
that's the point you're trying to make.
Pena had a poor throw later in the game as well. So like that, again, it's a difficult situation. They were 0 for 9 with RISP in this game. They're putting the ball in play. I think Counsell will mostly defer to the fact that will even out. They're hitting the ball relatively hard, but I do, that bases loaded, nobody out, you're expected to score somewhere around like 2.7 runs. When you strike out in that spot, it drops to 1.6. That is the big margin. Like when you have no outs, bases loaded, you got to get something out of that.
Right.
So you have to put ball in play there. Even if you're the Cubs in that situation, I don't think it works out data side, but you could trade 2 outs for the run there. You just got to get a run on the board. Like this team has been struggling to put runs up. So that's the thing to me. Bases loaded, nobody out. You have to put the ball in play there. Hap striking out drops the run probability there, and then Arrighetti eventually gets out of the inning. But that's just a tough AB.
The other day I asked Craig Counsell about the RISP situations.
Sure.
And like you said, like there's not like I think said like there's a secret to it. I've asked him a couple times about it. To your point, and I really like what he continues to emphasize, which is put guys on. Keep the pressure on.
Yeah, it's a good offense to do that.
They continue to do that. Now, they're not coming up with the big hits. Today, they actually had more walks than hits. 5 walks, 4 hits. They actually had 3 hit batters as well. So they're finding ways to get guys on. I think the frustrating thing, of course, when you're watching the games is you are just waiting for those moments because you have good hitters up in these situations. Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki multiple times with runners on, especially in those scoring positions. But it's just one of those stretches.
It's tough.
Not happening.
I know. I mean, they're walking. Like I think their plate approach generally is good. Like they make really good swing decisions.
You see a lot of pitches.
Just haven't seen it actually manifest.
Good identification. Unfortunately, with that though, the Cubs fall Game 1 to the Astros 4-2 on this Friday afternoon. Hey, there was a bright spot in today's game. Pete Crow Armstrong with the Bombski. We'll cover it all. Coming up next from Cubs Postgame Live. We're back here on Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. This Friday afternoon, the Cubs, they fall 4-2 to the Astros. And in the standings, well, they are 2 games back, right up there with the Cardinals. We know it's a very competitive Central Division, and so you got to win to keep up because the Brewers right now, they are at the top. So how did today go? Let's show you. It's our Felco highlights presented by Felco. And early on, Jameson Taillon, he is on the mound. And this one, a hanger, Christian Vasquez with the bombs.
Yeah, that's just a straight miss. He's trying to go down away. He pulls it up into the zone. I mean, yeah, not a lot of balls got out today, but unfortunately that one did.
Yeah, wind was blowing in, so even some fly balls that got knocked down that could have been out, but that one does find its way out. Okay, so you got Ducks on the pond and this a chance here for Michael Conforto. Tough. And a half-swing ground ball to the left side.
And this is what we're talking about, like Counsell pointing out the idea of luck with ball and play. I mean, obviously you want hard hit into the outfield, but you almost got a run out of that because of Pena's poor throw.
Did you say you want a hard hit?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
well, how about PCA take
Some
care
bright
of that?
spot. There we go.
The Brozdowski to right off the lefty, nonetheless, and Miguel Amaya got on with a little flare into the outfield, and so Cubs, they're inching away at that deficit. Nice swing by PCA.
He has looked really good versus left-handed pitching this season. I wonder if it's a byproduct of him playing every day because he's such a good defender, seeing more lefties.
Nico Horner, we know that he's been Mr. RISP and he has bases loaded, but there a ground ball to the left side can't come through. So just one of those another opportunities that was shot, and Lance mentioned it in this game today, 0 for 9 with RISP. So Jameson Taillon on the day, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 4 earned, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and the Cubs with those 4 hits, but struggling with the runners in scoring position. That has been a theme lately. And so, Craig, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the bases loaded, nobody out situation, and not getting runs across in that inning is, that's frustrating. I don't know how else to say it. It's it's an opportunity, the middle of your lineup up, and just not being able to get it done is frustrating. So the rest were like 2-out situations, and yeah, one of those situations, we need hits in those situations if we're going to score, if we're going to win games. And it's just not happening right now.
We talked about the runners in scoring position pregame. How do you get yourself out of kind of this funk with runners in scoring position going forward?
Well, we get hits. I mean, we got to get hits, That's it. You got to, the pressure's on the pitcher in those at-bats. The pitcher's in a tough situation. And it feels a little backwards right now in terms of that.
How big was it for Pete to get that walk in the second inning that's third on off the time?
It's great.
You look at your guys up and down the bench during the game, take their temperature. You see anything different at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to do something different. I think there's some at bats where some confidence is starting to feel like it's shaken, and sometimes that's just a different look in the lineup or a day off or whatever. I think we're at that point, absolutely.
Interesting. So we'll see what that means in the coming days. But for now, as for today, let's make life a little brighter, shall we? So who made life brighter today with Pella Windows and Doors? Pete Crow Armstrong gets the Cubs on the board in the bottom of the 6th. Just some good contact against the lefty. He's been better this year, Lance, against lefties.
We were just saying, I think it's a byproduct of just seeing so many lefties. The only way you're going to get better as a left-handed hitter versus left-handed pitching is to see major league lefties. There's not a lot of good left-handed pitching in the minor leagues because the good guys get accelerated up so quickly. So the fact that Pete's such a good defender buys him time at the plate versus all the lefties he's seen early in the season. And I mean, this is awesome. Right side of your screen there. I mean, the on base is up, which I think is the biggest part. Like, I don't even think I need him barreling the ball. Like, if he could be a 350, even a 340 on base guy, he's been a 370 on base guy versus lefties. Like, he's gonna play probably close to 155 to 60 games, and that's exactly what you want because he's the best defender in the world.
I mentioned the 5 walks today. He had 2 of them.
Yeah.
So when someone like him is getting on base and you saw the miscues from the Astros and how he can take advantage of that and grab a couple of extra bags, hey, that's making stuff happen, and now you're just waiting for those hits. Jameson Taillon, he was your starter today after going 4 1/3, giving up a home run, 4 2/3, I should say. So what does he have to say next? And get solid defense behind him. Not enough in the Cubs 4-2 loss. We'll continue to recap coming up.